Hello, everyone, and welcome in. My name is Alexis Miller. I am one of the yoga instructors here for Yoga for Caregivers. This is our weekly stretch session where we take a couple moments to get in our body, stretch out, get us ready for the rest of our day and the rest of our week. So, as we move through practice today, let's keep in mind our boundaries. Notice, where are you ready to extend into postures? Where do you need to modify and come down to the mat? Or perhaps find a center posture. Also, keep in mind, I don't often cue water. So, if and when you feel thirsty, of course, please feel free to step off your mat, grab that drink, and then join us whenever you feel ready. So, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and come into a comfortable seat, whether your legs are crossed or they're straight out in front of you. You can be up on a prop like I am on a block, you can be down on your mat. And then we're going to wiggle back and forth, rooting into our sits bones here. We'll sit up nice and tall. We're going to inhale as we bring our shoulders forward and up, and then exhale as we drop them back and down. One more time, inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Hands come into a comfortable position, whether on your knees, palms up or down, or in your lap. You're welcome to close the eyes if that feels comfortable, or simply find an unmoving point and soften your gaze here today. This year, inspiration for our classes is drawn from the Native American medicine wheel, based on Sun Bear's vision. The medicine wheel teaches us about movement and change and offers us insight that will help us learn and grow. The deer phase of the year happens under the corn planting moon. Once again, nature reveals the purpose of this time. We must sow the seeds of balance, self-compassion, and sensitivity. When we take the time to cultivate these seeds, they allow us to bloom more fully into a well-rounded life that is sustainable long-term. Last month involved working hard toward living the life we want to live. Now is the time to pause and recover from our efforts. As you move through practice, I invite you to feel into your own sensitivity. You already know what you need for restful recovery. Allow yourself to lean into the practices that support you in doing so. So, centering in, taking a deep inhale through your nose, filling your belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhaling that breath back out. Take another deep inhale, fill the belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhale that breath back out. Take another deep inhale here as you feel your belly expand outward, belly button pressing away from the spine. And then exhale as you draw your belly button in toward your spine. Inhale as you feel your torso expand and your collarbones gently lift. And then exhale as you feel your shoulders release down and away from your ears. Inhale, bringing air in your nose, down your throat, filling your lungs. And then exhale as you release that air from the lungs. Feel it move up the throat and then out the nose. Continue to breathe deeply, inhaling and exhaling with intention. Really noticing the movement of your breath here. Tuning in to your sensitivity, your ability to really notice those movements, those subtle changes here, or those subtle messages that are saying, hey, this is what I need in this moment. This is what I need today. Now, if your mind gets distracted, it wanders off, gets caught up in a thought, it gets caught up in a physical sensation, that's okay. The moment you've noticed you've gone away, see if you can come back to the breath and focus on the inhales and exhales. Now, if it feels right for you, perhaps incorporating a mantra here to help the mind stay grounded and tuned into the breath. Inhale, I am. Exhale, sensitive. Inhale, I am. Exhale, sensitive. remaining here with your breath in whatever way best supports you for just a few more moments here today. Take one more deep inhale here and set an intention or a purpose for your practice today, which really can be anything at all, but it often answers the question, why did I get on my mat? Take a nice deep inhale here, feeling that intention with your heart and mind. And then exhale that breath out, set the intention off to the side, knowing we'll return to it toward the end of our practice. Good. Remaining here for a moment in your comfortable seat, adjusting if you need. We're going to inhale, sweep our right arm out to the side, thumb facing up, fingers spread wide, palm open in front of you here. And then exhale, turn your nose over to the left. So maybe you stay right here, feeling that pull through the neck, into the shoulder, bicep, tricep, forearm, and down into the fingertips. Option is to drop your nose down toward your armpit here and staying long through the spine, so dropping the shoulders down at the same time. Core is gently engaged. We're really engaging the sits bones with the mat here. This left arm is resting down on the mat. It can also be down on the floor if that is more comfortable for you. Let's take a couple deep breaths here together. Inhale, let's go ahead and return to center here. And then exhale that breath out, coming back into that stable neutral position. Good. Inhale, left arm sweeps out to the side, thumb facing up, fingers spread wide, palm facing forward. Exhale, turn your nose over to the right. So again, you can stay right here, feel that stretch from the neck into the shoulder, front and back of the arm, all the way down to the fingertips here. Core is gently engaged. We're rooting through the sits bones. We're long through the spine. Option is to drop your nose down toward your armpit here. That is going to deepen the stretch, but of course, it's an option, not a requirement. Taking a couple deep breaths here. And then inhale, gently release, come back into center. Nice work here. Let's go ahead and release that prop, moving it out to the side and away from you. And then we're going to extend our feet straight out in front of us here. So our legs are extended, we're rooted into the sits bones, and we're sitting up nice and tall. We're going to inhale as we sweep our arms tall, and then exhale, hinge forward here, coming into a seated forward fold. Now, this may be the first forward fold of the day, so we might not sink as low as we normally do. That is totally fine. So as you sink down, find that spot for the hands that feels best. Mat, shins, legs, or feet. Notice what's right for you. Hinging at the hips, pressing forward at the heart center, trying to keep that back as straight as you can. And then feel that pull through the back of the legs here. We're getting a nice full hamstring stretch. Tuck the chin slightly so you're long through your neck, reaching through the crown of the head here. Shoulders down. Let's take a couple deep breaths here together. Nice work. We inhale, go ahead and press ourselves back up into center. Now we're going to take that right foot and we're going to bring it and stack it on top of that left leg. So that left leg stays extended, but that ankle is kind of on that fleshy part right above the knee. So you see it from the side here. I'm going to angle so you can see me a little bit easier here. Okay. So finding that comfortable spot for the leg, keeping the left foot flexed, right foot gently flexed, creating this figure four here. We're going to inhale as we lengthen through the spine. Exhale as we hinge at the hips. Lean forward at the heart center. Good. Coming into this figure four, forward fold. Now, we're really feeling that stretch in the right hip right now. Hands can be on the legs, down on the mat. You can take that right hand and very gently press it down toward the floor. That's going to deepen the stretch. And then we're getting that bonus of that nice little extra stretch in that left leg here. Shoulders are down, chin is gently tucked. We're long through the spine. And let's take a couple deep breaths here together. Nice work. We inhale, press ourselves back on up into center, release that leg, straighten and flex that right foot here just to get a little bit of movement in the ankle and to get a little bit of blood flowing back into those hamstrings and all of the muscles running through the back of the leg here. Nice. Good. And then coming on to the opposite side, I'm going to re-angle here. So we're going to take that left foot and bring it onto that fleshy part right above the knee on the thigh. So lower thigh right above the knee, creating this nice figure four here. So again, sitting up nice and tall, we inhale as we lengthen through the spine, and then exhale as we hinge at the hips and lean forward through the heart center, coming into this seated figure four fold once again. So notice it may be easier to fold deeper on one side than the other, totally normal. It's not important that you reach the same depth. Instead, it's important that you do the stretch on both sides and that you feel sensation. That's how we eventually get that symmetry we're seeking in our bodies. So hands can be on the legs, down on the mat. You can take that left hand and gently press it down toward the floor here. It's an option. Don't push too far. It's just deepening that stretch in the left hip. Good. Keeping both feet gently flexed here. And then let's take a couple deep breaths here together. And then we inhale, go ahead and press ourselves back up into center. Uncross that leg here. And then go ahead and point and flex that left foot, just finding a little bit of movement in that ankle, getting the blood flowing back through that leg all the way up to the hip here. Yeah, you got it. All right. Now we're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. So finding that angle that is right for your body, it's going to be different for all of us. We're rooting into our sits bones here, sitting up nice and tall. We inhale as we lengthen through our spine, and then exhale as we hinge at the hips and walk our hands forward here, coming into this wide-legged fold. Now, we are targeting the inside of our legs here. So, keeping those toes facing the ceiling as much as possible. You notice I grab my block. You are welcome to use a block under your hands. You can come down onto your forearms. Another option that's going to make this posture a little more spicy, but deepen that stretch in the legs, is having your hands out on your shins here. That kind of allows yourself to press your legs open, keeping those toes moving up toward the sky, really getting that nice deep stretch that we're seeking through the inside of the thighs. Again, this is an option, it's not a requirement. If you're doing it, keep a slight bend in your elbows. We don't want to lock out our joints. And then let's take a couple deep breaths here together. Inhale, let's go ahead, walk ourselves back up into center, moving our props out of the way here. We're going to take that right foot, bring it to the inside of that left thigh, and you might want to close down your stance a little bit here. It's up to you. We're going to sit up nice and tall and start with our left hand on our left shin here. We're going to inhale, sweep tall with that right arm, and then exhale, lean over to the left. Reach those fingers down toward your toes. So it may help to use your gaze to draw that arc, reaching those fingers toward the toes. Now, notice the bicep may want to come in front of the face here. Instead, we're going to bring that bicep over the ear, stacking the shoulders. So we're getting a nice deep stretch through that right side body. This left forearm can stay on the leg, or you can bring it down to the mat. If it's more accessible, you can also use a block to help prop up this position, help you get into that posture. So wherever you are, let's take a couple deep breaths here together. And then inhale, let's release. Come back up into center. Nice work. Go ahead, extend that right leg out. Bring that left sole of the foot to the inside of the thigh. So again, let's go ahead and start with that hand on the right side on the right shin. We inhale, sweep tall with that left arm, and then exhale as we sink down and lean over to the right. Reach those fingers toward the toes, maybe drawing an arc with your gaze down toward the toes. Notice the tendency of the arm to drop in front and instead stack those shoulders, bicep over the ear. Now, if that means you need to come up here, that's okay. Find the good open position with the heart center here and lean. You're still getting all the benefits of the posture. Forearm can remain on the leg. It can come down to the mat, or once again, find your block, maybe on a higher height, maybe on a different height or a lower one here. Okay. So reaching through that top arm, feeling the pull through the left side body this time. And let's take a couple deep breaths here together. We inhale, come on up into center. Nice work. Again, moving props out of the way if you are using them. Nice work. We're going to go ahead and extend our legs straight out in front of us here. We're going to find a runner's lunge. So I'm going to angle once again. So leaning over to the right, we're going to sweep our left foot around, bending at the knee, bringing the top of that foot to the floor here. Now, as I bring my weight back onto my sits bones here, my foot is on the outside of my heel. So I'm not sitting on the heel or the foot here. Now, if you're sitting here and you're like, Alexis, this is enough of a stretch through my quad, feel free to stay. Core isn't gently engaged. We're sitting into those sits bones. We're nice and tall through the spine. We've dropped the shoulders down away from the ears. Now, an option if you want to deepen that stretch. Lean back onto the hands, fingers facing your glutes here. You're welcome to stay here. You can continue to walk those hands back, or you can come down onto the forearms. You can also use blocks under the forearms to support your opening. This is an option. It's certainly not a requirement, like all of my practices. So notice what feels right for you and let's breathe. If you're up here on the hands or even on the forearms, notice the tendency to sink into the shoulders. Instead, lengthen through the spine, drop the shoulders down, and have a nice long neck here, maybe looking up to the top corner of your room. Let's take a couple deep breaths. When you're ready, we inhale, go ahead and make our way back up onto our hands. Lean onto the right side, sweep that left foot around, and then go ahead and gently roll out that ankle in one direction and then the other, loosening up the ankle here, just getting a little bit of movement. Nice work. And then we switch to the opposite side here. I'm just going to move so you can see me. So leaning onto the left, bend at the right knee as you sweep that right foot around, and then lean back here so your hips come back onto the floor. So again, heel is to the outside of the hip. Now, if you're like, this is more than enough, stay right here. Great option. Options are to lean back onto the hands. You can walk the hands back. You can come down onto the forearms or use props to support you in your opening here. Again, we're not sinking into the shoulders, but instead lengthening through the spine. Good. Maybe looking up toward that top corner of the room and taking a couple deep breaths here together. Nice work here. We inhale, make our way back up into center, lean on to the left side, sweep that right foot around, move that leg around in a couple circles in one direction, and then in the other. Nice. Before kicking ourselves onto the knees here. So coming onto hands and knees, bring those knees beneath the hips, tops of the feet are on the floor here. Now, making sure the airspace is free of any props. Step your hands forward so they're in front of your shoulders. And then exhale, sink your chest down, coming into puppy pose. Chin or forehead can be down on the floor. And notice here, I'm not sinking back onto my hips, but instead I'm staying nice and tall with my butt sticking up in the air. Good. See that decompression or see that arch in my back. That is creating a nice decompression in the low spine here. We're getting a nice stretch through the shoulders, through that heart center, into the neck here, into the biceps, tricep space. So let's take a couple deep breaths here together. And then inhale. Go ahead, allow your arms to slide back as you sink your hips back onto your heels, child's pose. And then take your arms, sweep them around to your feet and release the shoulders. Allow those forearms, allow the shoulders to reach down toward the floor. If your forehead does not reach the mat, you can always grab a prop like a block or a pillow and gently rest it down here. Wherever you are, just take a few moments here to check in with your body, notice what's present. We've just done some nice deep stretching here. So allow yourself just to tune in. Tune into your sensitivity to your own physical form. All right, inhale, hands come beneath the shoulders. Press yourself on up into neutral, and we're going to make our way onto our back. We will not sit up for the rest of practice. So if you need to towel off, grab a drink of water, put on socks or a jacket for finer relaxation, now's a good moment. We will not sit up for the rest of our practice today. Okay? So coming on down onto your back when you feel ready, and planting the soles of the feet on the floor. Good. Bringing your arms out into a kind of neutral position, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And then allow your knees to fall over to the right. So gently press that left knee down toward the inside of the right ankle. Feel that pull through the quad, but then also into the hip flexor. And then a nice gentle twist through your spine. Switching here on the next inhale, knees come up into center, and then exhale, knees fall over to the left. So again, pressing that right knee down to the floor, feeling that pull through the quad, feel that opening in the right hip flexor this time, gentle twist through the spine. Couple deep breaths here. And then we inhale, come back on up into center, getting ready for final relaxation here. So maybe adjusting the hips, tucking them slightly as you reconnect your lower back with the mat here. You can stay right here, knees up, soles of the feet on the floor, little mountains. You can allow the knees to fall open wide, soles of the feet together for reclined down angle. You can extend one leg and keep the opposite in for fallen tree, or extend both legs, coming into that traditional final relaxation pose. Arms find that comfortable spot for you. You are also welcome to lay on your side or on your belly. Or if you want, you can also come up into a seated position and use this final part of practice for seated meditation. It's up to you. So, whatever position you find yourself in, taking a moment here to make any adjustments that will allow you to experience the maximum amount of comfort available to your body in this moment, and then begin to settle in. So, allowing that breath to take on its own rhythm and its own cadence, and begin to notice how fast or slow the breath has become. Notice the sensation of air as it moves in and out of your throat. Tune into the sensitivity that you naturally have, that awareness of the subtle changes within the body, that awareness around the subtle messages that are being sent to you of how you can come back into harmony in this moment, both here on the mat as well as in the rest of your life. Allow yourself to breathe. And if the mind gets caught up, thoughts, noises, physical sensations, it's okay. The moment that you've gone away, see if you can return to the breath, return to focusing on your inhales and your exhales. Now, if it feels right for you, perhaps reincorporating the mantra we used at the beginning of our practice. Inhaling, I am. Exhaling, sensitive. Inhaling, I am. Exhaling, sensitive. Remaining here with your breath in whatever way best supports you for just a few more moments. I'm going to get quiet for this final part of practice so you can have it to yourself. Please note that I am watching the time. I respect yours, and I will let you out of this posture before the end of practice. So lean back here, let go, just rest with this sensitivity of this restful spot. When we think too much, the quality of our being is reduced. Stopping the thinking, we increase the quality of our being. There's more peace, relaxation, and rest. Bringing your awareness back to this space, taking a deep inhale through your nose, filling your belly, lungs, and chest with air. before slowly exhaling your breath back out. Taking another deep inhale as you begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Move arms and legs, gently waking your body up. When it feels right for you, roll onto one side and pause there for a moment with an arm or a hand beneath your head. It's here that I invite you to bring back to mind your intention or purpose that you set at the beginning of your practice that answered the question, why did I get on my mat? Take a deep inhale. Make your way on up into a seated position as we close out practice together today. So find your comfortable seat, root into your sits bones, sit up nice and tall. Inhale, bring your shoulders forward and up. Exhale, drop them back and down. Good. Hands come into that comfortable position, whether on the knees, in the lap, or at heart center. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. We take a moment to express gratitude for yet another lovely day here on earth and for our bodies allow us to do so many things, including yoga. Thank you all so much for allowing me to guide you through this practice today. It was a joy and an honor, and I hope to be able to do so again in the future. Light in me, it sees the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me here for this weekly stretch session. Again, my name is Alexis Miller. I am one of the yoga instructors for Yoga for Caregivers. You can find Yoga for Caregivers on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, where you can access resources from other volunteers like me and keep up to date with what we are up to. Thank you so much. Make sure to mark your calendars and set an alarm for next Wednesday. That's when I'm here, 9 a.m. Eastern. So I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.